Hello guys, so welcome back again to my mini lecture video. So for today's discussion, we're going to talk about air pollution and climate change. What is air pollution? Pollution is now a commonplace term that our ears are attuned to. We hear about the various forms of pollutions every day and read about it through the mass media. Air pollution in one such form that refers to the contamination of the air, irrespective of indoor or outside. A physical, biological, or chemical alteration to the air in the atmosphere can be termed as pollution. It occurs when any harmful gases, dust, smoke, enters into the atmosphere and makes it difficult for plants, animals, and humans to survive as the air becomes dirty. Types of pollutants. Air pollution can be classified into two sections: the invisible and visible air pollution. Visible air pollution, as the name suggests, can be visible. The smog you see over a city is an example of visible pollution. Invisible air pollutants, on the other hand, are less noticeable, but they can be more deadly. Good examples of invisible air pollutants are sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen oxides. And if we go deeper, it can be further divided into primary and secondary pollutants. Primary air pollutants. The pollutants that are a direct result from the process can be called primary pollutants. A classic example of a primary pollutant would be the sulfur dioxide emitted from factories. While secondary air pollutants are the ones that are caused by intermingling and reactions of primary pollutants. Smog created by the interactions of several primary pollutants is known as a secondary pollutants. There are top 10 kinds of air pollution, namely sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, volatile organic compounds, particulates, ozone, chlorofluorocarbons, unburned hydrocarbons, and lead and heavy metals. There are two types of air pollution sources, namely the natural sources and man-made sources. Natural sources. Natural sources of pollution include dust carried by the wind from locations with very little or no grain cover, gases released from the body processes of living beings like carbon dioxide from humans during respiration, methane from cattle during digestion, and oxygen from plants during photosynthesis. Also, smoke from combustion of various inflammable objects, volcanic eruptions, and many more, along with the emissions of polluted gases, also makes it to the list of natural sources of pollution. Man-made sources. The man-made sources of air pollution can be further divided into two: the outdoor pollution sources and indoor pollution sources. Outdoor pollution sources. The major outdoor pollution sources include power generation, vehicles, agriculture or waste incineration, industry, and building heating systems. Smoke features as a prominent component. The smoke emitted from various forms of combustion like in biomass, factories, vehicles, furnaces, and many more. And also, waste dumped in landfills generates methane, which is harmful in several ways. The reaction of certain gases and chemicals also form harmful fumes that can be dangerous to the well-being of living creatures. Indoor pollution sources. In a low and middle-income countries, mostly burning fuels such as dung, coal, and wood in efficient stove or open hearths produces a variety of health-damaging pollutants. This includes carbon monoxide, methane, particulate matter, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, and volatile organic compounds. Even burning kerosene in wick lamps also produces significant emissions of fine particles and other pollutants. Exposure to smoke from cooking fires causes 3.8 million premature deaths each year. Various causes of air pollution. These are the burning of fossil fuels, agricultural activities, waste in landfills, exhaust from factories and industries, mining operations, indoor air pollution, and natural events. Disastrous effects of air pollution. These are respiratory and heart problems, child health problems, global warming, acid rain, eutrophication, and depletion of the ozone layer. What is climate change? You have probably heard the terms climate change and global warming used interchangeably. That's because both describe changes in Earth's climate. While global warming focuses on the rising average temperature of the planet, climate change usually refers to the shifts in things like precipitation, wind patterns, and temperatures over a given period. Measured changes in climate could last a few years, decades, or even millions of years. Climate change has occurred for as long as the Earth has existed. It happens anytime. Earth's climate patterns change and remain in place for a measurable amount of time. This has notably manifested itself in natural cycles of cooling and warming. Before human causes started to shift the global climate, five main factors interacted with one another as climate changes occurred. These five factors include atmosphere, biosphere, cryosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. What are the causes of climate change? The American Association for the Advancement of Science has stated, "The scientific evidence is clear. Global climate change caused by human activities is occurring now and it is a growing threat to society." The following are a few of the ways humans are accelerating climate change. These are the greenhouse gases, solar activity, agriculture, deforestation, and livestock. Immediate effects of climate change. The immediate effects of climate change is the extreme weather. Changes to weather are perhaps the most noticeable effects of climate change. Extreme weather influenced by climate change includes stronger storms and hurricanes, heat waves, wildfires, more flooding, and heavier droughts. Long-term impact of climate change. The long-term impact of climate change could be absolutely devastating to the planet and everyone and everything living on it. If the world continues on its current trajectory, then we will likely continue to see increasing effects on everyday life. Its impact on health. There are many ways in which climate change could impact people's health. Depending on age, location, and economic status, climate change is already affecting the health of many and has the potential to impact millions more. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, climate change-related health risks may include heat-related illness, injuries and fatalities from severe weather, asthma and cardiovascular disease from air pollution, respiratory problems from increased allergens, diseases from poor water quality, water and food supply insecurities, and negative impact in ecosystems. Its impact on water and food resources. Climate change could have a significant impact on food and water supplies. Severe weather and increased temperatures will continue to limit crop productivity and increase the demand for water. With food demand expected to increase by nearly 70% by 2050, the problem will likely only get worse. Its impact on sea levels rising. Rising sea levels could have far-reaching effects on coastal cities and habitats. Increasing ocean temperatures and melting ice sheets have steadily contributed to the rise of sea levels on a global scale. Its impact on shrinking ice sheets. While contributing to rising sea levels, shrinking ice sheets present their own set of unique problems, including increased global temperatures and greenhouse gas emissions. Climate change has driven summer melt of the ice sheets covering Greenland and Antarctica to increase by nearly 30% since 1979. Its impact on ocean acidification. The ocean is one of the many ways in which CO2 gets absorbed. The increasingly human-caused CO2 is pushing the world's ocean to their limits and causing increased acidity. As pH levels in the ocean decrease, shellfish have difficulty reproducing, and much of the ocean's food cycle becomes disrupted. And this ends our discussion about air pollution and climate change. I hope you learned something from this discussion and see you in my next many lecture videos.